Hey there, it's Mr. Tush, and we are going to do lesson 2, hyperlinks. And this next lesson is really kind of cool because it's what makes the internet the internet. A bunch of online documents would just be something you'd read, and that would be cool. But the fact that you can jump from any document somewhere to any other document somewhere else is what makes the internet kind of cool. It's the inter of internet, in my opinion. So what we have open here is our development environment. I've got Sublime Text open. You can see it says Sublime Text here, and I've got the page we made in the last lesson. And I've also opened this page in the browser over here, and I've got them side by side so I can see what I'm working on. That's a very smart way to work. Now that we're in lesson 2, I'm going to make a second page. And I could go and open a new file, and I could reformat everything. But I'm going to take a little shortcut, if you don't mind. So I'm going to Sublime Text to see how it's open. And I'm going to go over to File, this File menu, and then I'm going to go to Save As. And you see where it says index.html, I already have that. Well, my next page is going to be about my favorite foods, so I'm going to call this Favorite Foods. And I am just going to put in favorite foods as one word, and I'm going to leave the .html there. So make sure it says favoritefoods.html. Later on, you can change the purpose of this page, but for now, let's go with that. I'm going to click Save. Now I've got favoritefoods.html. And when I go over here to Chrome, I open it, and favoritefoods.html is there, and it opens beautifully, and it's exactly like this page. Well, we don't want that. First thing we're going to do is go up to the title. I'm going to change my awesome web page to my favorite foods. And I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to refresh the page. Now it changes the title to my favorite foods. And then over here, I'm going to go to something called Here Are My Favorite Foods. Oh, didn't need to underline, or sorry, capitalize foods. Save. And no, I don't need to purchase it. And then I'm going to go over here. I have to save it again. Sorry, didn't save. Then back to here. And here are my favorite foods. There we go. Now, over here, I've got a bunch of text that doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm going to get rid of all of this. But I am going to start adding some things. For example, I'll go in here and I will say, under a P tag, dark chocolate. Probably my absolute favorite. Another big favorite of mine is broccoli. Yeah, I know that's strange, but I'm a big broccoli fan. And then my third is going to be steak. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to click Save. And I'm going to refresh the page. And those are my 3 favorite foods. So far, I have this particular page, and I have my awesome home page. And look, I can use the back and forth browser because the browser doesn't really save files, but it does save locations. So I can back and forth through it. But here are my favorite foods. That's my web page. It's fine. Now, here's the tricky part. I'm going to add a link. And a link is going to take me from About Us to this page, My Favorite Foods. In order to do that, I need to go back to Sublime Text. I'm going to open, actually I have the open recent, and index.html opens there. The neat thing about Sublime Text, if I'm working in 2 pages, you'll notice that it gives me 2 tabs. If I open this the right way, it allows me to switch between tabs, and that's going to be pretty convenient later on. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to have index.html open, and notice I'm working within my body tags. You see how my body tag is here, and my body tag is here? I'm putting all of my code within my body tag. And I'm going to take a look at this in the browser, because the browser is open to my favorite foods. So I'm going to take a look at index.html. And there it is. That's this page here. I'm going to add a new piece of code. In order to add a code snippet, I'm going to put in the caret. I'm going to put in an A. An A tag is an attribute tag. And the attribute of this particular text is going to be that it's a hyperlink. And I'm going to type in href, href. And then I put an equal sign. And then I put in quotes. Quotes are where you put the citation, the address. And I'm going to type this information right here, favoritefoods.html. And I have to be exact. Favorite foods HTML. And then I'm going to close the quote, which it did, and I'm going to put that in there. And then I'm going to give a text to highlight. So you'll notice this is where Sublime is powerful. A, because all the attributes are, all the tag names are in pink. href is a specific link code, so it made it green, and then the address of the link is in yellow. And then the actual text is in white, which is kind of neat. So I'm going to put in, here is a page of my favorite foods, period. And then I'm going to close the A tag. So I opened the A, I put in the address, and I close the A. Go up here and I save. And then I refresh the page. And you'll see that it puts it in there. And it put it in there in purple. And the reason it put it in there in purple is because, beg your pardon, I've already been to that page. If I click on it, it's going to run me back to my favorite foods. If I click back, there we are. So I've put in a special tag. If I want to, and of course I want to, I'm going to put a link here on my favorite food pages to my page that's all about me. So I'm going to go over to the body of the favorite foods page. I'm going to go down here. And I'm going to go A, href, and it gives me that as a default. Isn't that kind of cool? I can click on it. That's totally fine. And you see how it automatically puts in the quotes for you? Sublime Text does that. Regular text editors don't. And I'm going to put in index.html. And the text I'm going to say, this is a page all about me. And close it. So I opened the tag and I closed it here just like I did in the other spot. Save. Refresh this page. Sorry, to open the page, my apologies. Oh, no. Refresh the page is fine. I made a mistake. There it is. This is a page all about me. So now I can click this is a page all about me and it goes to here. This is a page of my favorite foods and it goes to here. I've now built a link between the two of them. What if I want to put in a Google search? Well, you can write a tag that goes within your website, or you can write a tag that sends people off your website. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to, well, for reasons I pass understanding, my photo editor is doing that. Sorry about that. I am going to add a tag to send people to Google. Opens the same way. A, href, and then you have to type in the full address if you're leaving the website. So if you're leaving your personal website and going to something outside of your site, you have to type in the full address, https:// just like we start every other address. It's http://, and I'll go to Google, google.com, and I'll put in text. Let's do a Google, should probably capitalize Google. Let's do a Google search on foods. And I'll save it, file, save, and refresh the page. And look what happens. It put it next to this. Why did it do that? Well, it's because there's no break. Even though these are on two separate lines, there's no break. So I tell you what I'll do. If you remember the break tag, I gave it to you last class. It's the bracket and then BR. And then we'll put in the other bracket. You don't need to close the bracket tag. It's the one tag you don't need to close. I'll save it, refresh the page, and now it's on two separate lines. What if I want some space between them? I could just put in, copy, paste, save. Now it puts in two lines. And that's fine. 2 breaks. If I do a Google search on foods and I click on it, look what happens. It goes to the Google page. Now, how do I get back to my website? Because there's no backlink. Well, we're not allowed to make additions to the Google search page. So to do that, I have to hit the back button on my browser. But now, as you can see, you've built links inside your website, and you've got a link going outside your website. And the power of the internet, believe it or not, as cool as it is to make the awesome content, and we are going to make some awesome content in this project, the thing that makes it particularly exciting is that you can take all of your content and connect it to all of the other content in the world. And the sum of human knowledge is at your fingertips because you are a part of the internet. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Good luck. Get your project done. Your final project will have one link back and forth inside of your website and one link going off. Those are the requirements of the project. Good luck and get her done. Talk to you soon.